Hi, good afternoon. I am Dawn Downham, and I am practicing to be a school counselor. Thank you for helping me with one of my lessons in my second counseling class. I will be recording this video, and I want you to know that what you say not only will be heard by me, but it will also be heard and watched by our professor and our classmates.
Okay.
What is said in this meeting is confidential. I will hold it in confidentiality, but there are some limitations to that confidentiality. So that can be broken if you share any of the following, if you are hurting yourself, if you share that someone else is hurting you, or if you know of someone that is being hurt. So if you are okay with those limitations of confidentiality, I'd like to go ahead and proceed.
I think that's wonderful. Sounds great.
Okay, thank you. All right, so I would like to start by asking you about one of your earliest childhood memories.
I had a little stuffed dog that was very special to me. I took it lots of places when we would go in the car or go on car trips. And one specific thing that sticks in my memory for some reason is our family took a trip where we traveled by plane, and I was able to take the little dog along with me. And my memory is just really of making our way through the airport, which is odd that that's a memory more so than like the actual trip itself. But I remember going through, the security and doing all the things you have to do in an airport. And it was my first time. But I remember, my parents trying to carry all the things and have all the things in hand, and I'm carrying the little dog, and I think I just remember my mom trying to grab my hand and I'm holding the dog, didn't want to lose it. And so for whatever reason, that's a memory that really sticks with me, is just getting and it to a point of getting on the plane. I remember sitting with the dog. I had it wrapped in a little blanket, and took it with me on the plane. And I, obviously wanted to have it with me on the trip.
Mhm.
And I think it was to me, it must have signified a bit of security for me at that time. And so, yeah, I totally remember going through the airport, getting on the plane, making sure my dog was with me, um, which is odd, but that is this memory that sticks.
Okay, thank you. Are there other memories that you may have that involve having that stuffed dog with you?
I do also remember my grandfather was a master woodworker, and was very talented making things from wood. And he made a cradle that I had in my bedroom for like my baby dolls and stuffed animals and things like that. So I remember tucking the little dog into the bed, and I can see in my head that corner of my room when I was a child that had the little cradle, and I'd have the blankets or have things in there for the dog. So I remember that. And then as I grew older, I obviously was no longer needing to take the dog with me places, but I did have it as, a decoration that sat on my bed for years. And it is still at my family home, in a drawer with some other memorabilia. So I do remember having it in my room and having that little cradle that's where I put the dog to sleep each night when I was very young. No specific instance of that, but I can remember very clearly putting the dog in its bed. I know that back then they didn't talk much about emotional support animals or things or whatever, but I think that if that were to be, then that I probably had that as an emotional support item for a time in my childhood.
Okay. And can you tell me, do you have any early memories of maybe a time where you didn't have that dog, but perhaps you did, like you were missing it or it wasn't there when you wanted it? Do you have an experience similar to that in any way?
I don't really have much of a memory of any time of separation where I actually didn't have the dog with me. That leads me to believe that when there came a time, like if I was going off to school and my parents had said, nope, time to leave the dog at home, I don't have any memories of that being traumatic in any way, and I've not heard any stories of that either, but I don't have a memory of that being anything that was a huge transition. So I'm assuming it must have been a pretty smooth transition, and maybe they worked their way up to that and had me take it less places as I got a little older. So I really don't have much of a memory of that other than I always had it at home and I always knew it was there. So yeah, it was very special, but I don't think I had any major issues with having that separation.
And when you think back to those early memories of having that dog with you, what are some of the feelings that you experience?
I think definitely it was a security for me. I was very timid as a child and introverted and shy. Um, not at all as I am these days, but I definitely think that that was something for me that was a comfort. I was lots of times in public when I was a young child. I can remember hiding behind my mom's leg, or like just being very shy around people. And I think that served as, a bit of security for me to have that to hold on to. So I definitely remember those feelings that, just all positive feelings. And it was just a very special item to me.
Okay, well, thank you. All
You
right,
bet.
I think we're good. Thank you so much.
Yes, yes, thank you.
I'm gonna pause them